Introducing from MGM Grand Garden Arena, Executive Vice Chairman Dan Charlier.
WFG, and I got to tell you, I'm so excited to be here. If you can pull up my PowerPoint, and you know, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of takeaways from the convention, and there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And I want to tell you that as I was thinking through this year's convention, a very, very special moment in my life right now, and I think about decisions that need to be made, and we all have heroes. You know, first, you know, one of my mentors that actually, you know, gave me the opportunity and sold me the dream, Mr. Ed Milet, is one of my mentors, is one of my heroes, and my upline, Rich Dawley, one of my heroes. But I want to tell you, that decisions that are made, that when you make these decisions, you have no idea what they mean 10, 15, 20 years from now. And you know, I think about my mom. I talk about my mom all the time. And I remember, I want to pull up this picture right here. I remember talking to my mom, and I was born in Haiti. Any Haitians in here? We got a couple of them in here. And back in the 60s, my mom had to make a very important decision in Haiti. And she was put in a very compromised position. She just had me, I was 1 year old. And she, as a woman in Haiti, she was put in a very compromised position. And she made a decision that she was gonna dream that she could come to the United States with $20 in her pocket, and she was gonna pave the way for her son. And as you see these pictures right here, I think that picture right there to the left, that's me right there. And that picture, my mother made a decision that she was coming to the United States with $20 in her pocket. And it took her literally 9 years to achieve that dream for me to go from Haiti to the United States. And I met my mom when I was 9 years old. And I tell you, I have kids now, I have 5 kids. And I think about how tough it was for my mother at that time to make that decision to come to the United States and leave me for 9 years. And that picture to the right there is the first time I was coming to the United States to meet my mom for the first time. And growing up in Brooklyn, New York, any New Yorkers in here? And growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I first meet my mom, and we're living in this little small apartment. And I've watched my mom for years, the entire time growing up, work 17-hour days. She would get up in the morning at 4:30 in the morning. She would make dinner. And growing up as a kid, I remember in the morning, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, I could smell my mom was cooking dinner, because she would go to work from 7 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening, then go to her part-time job at night. And I remember thinking as a kid, I said, man, my mom works so hard, and she's always had a positive attitude about life, right? And I remember just growing up as a single mom and going to high school, and I had a mentor in high school. His name was Mr. Quigley. And Mr. Quigley says, Danny, he says, you know what? You got to go to college. You got to go to college. And when you go to college, you have to become an architectural engineer. So I went to college. I went to college. My first semester in college, they had a program where the graduates from the year before came to speak to the freshmen. And I remember listening to the #1 graduate speak, and I asked them at the end, I said, hey, if you were me, knowing what you know now, what would you do different and why? He said, I would drop out and I would go get a job. So literally the next day, I dropped out. I went and got a job. I started working at Harlem Hospital. And I remember my mom pulled me to the side. She says, look, I left a third world country to come here, didn't see you for 9 years, and I didn't do all of that. I didn't do all of that for you to become an exterminator at Harlem Hospital. You need to figure out what you're gonna do, but this is not it. She forced me to make a decision. And she said, listen, this is my house. You can't stay in my house, so you gotta figure out what you're gonna do. And it's interesting when you become disturbed and your back's against the wall, there's decisions that you delay to make that you're forced to make. So the next day, I'm on a train, I see a Marine. I see a Marine in a Marine uniform, right? And I decide, you know what, I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. I go home that day, I tell my mom, Mom, I got an idea. I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. The next day, my mother calls the Marine Corps recruiter and tells him to come get it. And that's how I ended up in the Marine Corps, spent 13 years with the Marines, 5 years of special duty. And in 1998, fired up. And in 1998, you guys, I found myself in a position where after doing 5 years of special duty, 2 years as a Marine Corps drill instructor, 2 years carried the colors for the president, 1 year led the Marine Corps silent drill team, #1 drill team in the world. And at 33, I found myself in a position where as a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps, I'm making about $2,800 a month. And the most that I could send my mom was $120 a month. And I remember having this conversation with my mom. I said, Mom, how much money would you need on a monthly basis where you can work because you want to, not because you have to? And I remember her saying about $2,000 a month. And I just knew something was wrong. And I said, man, to get to this point, all the sacrifices, and I can't send my mom $2,000 a month. And I became disturbed. And in April of 1998, I met Mr. Ed Mallett. And Ed Mallett sold me a dream, recruited me into WFG. And I remember coming to a convention just like this in June 1998. And after it was all said and done, I made a decision. I said, this is my shot at the big time. See, WFG is a company where your dreams can come true. And my first dream said, man, I want to be in a position where I fire my boss, and I want to be in a position where I can take all the financial pressure off my mom. And I did that back in 1999. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you that there's a decision. There's a lot of new people here. I remember my first convention. I was actually staying in a Motel 6, 5 of us in one room where we paid $30 a night, right? And I had a little hoopty that we drove from California all the way here. And I remember saying to myself, man, I'm gonna make a decision that's gonna change the legacy of my future and of my family. And I wanna tell you that this is your shot at the big time. This is the company that if you make that decision, that you can change your life. And you know, I brought my mom up. Where's my mom? Come on up, Mom. I brought my mom up. And I'm telling you, a lot of us in here have people that sacrifice and made some decisions. And WFG is the opportunity that can allow you to achieve your wildest dreams. And my mother showed me her strength at the lowest part of her life. She made some decisions, and she kept her dreams bigger than her fears. And I'm so grateful for her, and I'm so grateful for WFG for giving me the opportunity to do this.
I want to first thank God, and then I would like to thank Ed Mallett. in my son Daniel. I came to this country in 1967 to have more opportunities for me and for my son Daniel. When WFG opened the doors to Daniel, our dreams came true. Thank you, WFG. I want to congratulate my only son, Daniel, for believing in himself, for being a hard worker, and for achieving his goals and dreams. I also want him to know that I am proud of him for being a good son.